Hi folks, today we've decided to come for a walk to Torrs Point at Kirkcudbright. It's if you park in Kirkcudbright and walk out here, it's a loop and it's a 9-mile walk, but we've parked a little bit nearer and the walk we are doing so far from the farm to here is about 3/4 of a mile, and then we're going to follow the path round and walk back up to the farm, and I think it's about 3 or 4 miles long, right along the coast. Where we stopped, you can see behind me Ross Island with a lighthouse on it, and there's an interesting story about the Ross Island in Kirkcudbright Bay. I have a script here. It's actually called Little Ross. It's a 29-acre island with a lighthouse on it. It's next to Meikle Ross on the mainland, which is a headland over there in the Borg. It's near a Borg. The island can only be accessed by private boat or by helicopter. The lighthouse was constructed in 1843 by Alan Stevenson. It was built at the mouth of the Kirkcudbright Bay to close the gap between other lighthouses at the Mull of Galloway and at Southerness. It's approximately 66 feet tall, and in the 1900s the island was home to the head lighthouse keeper, underkeeper and their families, which totaled 16 people, and their food was provided by a small dairy and piggery on the island itself. But there's a very interesting story about the island. Back in August 1960, 2 relief lighthouse keepers were on duty during the holiday of the principal lighthouse keeper. The secretary of the local RNLI arrived on the island with his son for lunch and a walk and discovered the body of one of the lighthouse keepers. Hugh Clark was his name. After a nationwide hunt, the other relief keeper, Robert Dickinson, was arrested and found guilty of murder, for which he was initially sentenced to hang. A sentence subsequently changed to life imprisonment. I have a tenuous link to this story, the fact that my uncle and my granny were in Dumfries. They were stopped at the traffic lights by the bridge, where Halfords is now, but Halfords wouldn't be but there back in the 60s. The traffic lights, they were on their way to Dumfries to the hospital to visit my auntie who just had a baby. And whilst they were stopped at the traffic lights, a car rammed into the back of them. And as it happened, the driver of the other car, it was a stolen car, the driver of the other car was the murderer whilst he was trying to make his escape. Because there was no Dumfries bypass then or anything, everybody had to drive through Dumfries to get to wherever they were going. And my granny and my uncle were both called to court to be witnesses in the case. Robert Dickinson was being sentenced, but they were actually never got called up to give their witness story to the situation. He had already been found guilty by then. So that's an interesting tenuous link to the whole murder story. If you Google it, you'll find interesting articles from the BBC and stuff about. In fact, I'll add them in the link below this video, all about the murder on Ross Island. But it is a stunning location. Today's quite calm. There's no wind blowing, so and the sea is fairly flat. The tide's well in. The dog's quite excited, so it's time to head off on our walk. And I'll do a little bit of filming of the footpath as we go along. Thank you. This section of the path along right by the shoreline was upgraded a couple of years ago by the fantastic people at the Galloway Glens scheme. They built some benches, upgraded the gates and the walkway itself, and it's really good going. Actually, it's clean. It's made with kind of gravel. It's really nice to walk along. So that's us completed the walk. It is about 3.5 miles from our car, doing the full loop back to the car again, and it's a really nice walk. There's no steep hills. There is a fairly good path most of the way, and a road. We had to walk back up the main road to where the car was parked. It's a great walk and a lovely day. I'll put links in below so that you can find where it is and stuff if you've never been. Like our videos, please do click like on them, share them, or give them the thumbs up, depending whether you're watching them on YouTube or Facebook or wherever they're posted. And thanks very much for watching. Bye.